In your head, in your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. In your head, in your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. Oh, we're live. Hello, what is up? Welcome. Oh my god, I have stuff downstairs that I can go grab. Give me a second. Oh, I have the perfect stuff for this as well. Oh, fuck, I don't have it on me. Give me a second. I made stuff the other day for this. Well, now I've got a friend to make it for me, actually. In your head, in your head, saw you dance from the corner, your name from a conversation playing hard to guess. Look, I made signs, but I can't understand. When I look at you, I see the story in your eyes. When you dancing, they're pretty cool, right? The night begins to shine. I think that one's my favourite. The night begins to shine, oh, the night begins to shine. The night begins to shine when you're dancing. Oh, the night begins to shine. But welcome back. Yes. So anyone that was on TikTok earlier, I should say my TikTok linked up here. My TikTok is linked up here. Basically, the dragons, they're long overdue. It needs to be done, and we're pretty much on the last two now. The others I do have done as well. So yeah, the dragons challenge. I started it a little while ago. People went on holiday, and I've been here on my own for the last week or so. I've been doing it steadily, bit by bit, and it has been going well. So basically, a quick background on everything we're doing. These look fucking awesome, by the way. They have deteriorated slightly. The first one. So essentially, the whole idea, before we get into stuff, right? The whole idea with all of this, I essentially made up a colour challenge because HTDYD came out, the live action one, right? And the idea was that you can do this with whatever you want, basically. You could do this with whatever film or anything, basically, like that, right? Essentially, the idea, let's get on to it, actually. So because I'm choosing the like 5 main dragons, essentially, right? I'm choosing the 5 main dragons for this, and so therefore I chose 5 colours. Therefore, I chose 5 colours representing each 5 dragons from the 5 main dragons from HTDYD. So it was Meatlug, Hookfang, Stormfly, Barfenbelch, and Toothless. Obviously, their riders are in there as well, but they're not as important. It's more focusing around the dragons. I guess the dragons, their riders, and their representative colours. And I took each of those colours and put it in a random generator with their hexes. So the Gronkool was yellow, which is Meatlug. Barfenbelch was green, which is the Hideous Zippleback. Hookfang I did for like a fiery orange-red, or vermilion, I guess you could say, which is the Monstrous Nightmare. We did purple for the Night Fury, which is Toothless, because Plasma Blast. And for Stormfly, I did sort of like a sky, sort of almost phthalo cyan blue, which is obviously the Deadly Nadder. What we then did is, for the first spin, the first colour we got was green. And essentially how this works is the first colour you get, depending on how many colours you're doing, you get that many variations of that colour. So the first one I did was obviously the Gronkool, because I also spun a wheel of names as well. the first one I got was a Gronkle, and the first colour I got was green. And using colour theory that we'd learned at uni and from previous experiences, I then took the green and then decided to take, well, you get 5 values basically of that green that we had for the Zippleback. So I took 2 darker values and 2 lighter values and kept the original green itself. There we go. And that way we had 5 variations of the same green, essentially. So if we get the actual, so the original green is this one in here. And all I did was take, if you can see us up here, this little sort of wheel. All I did was basically take from this bit up here and choose some darker and lighter values. And then use that to create this picture here. Obviously focusing on the dragon, the background is slightly more abstract. But also, the background kind of depends on the colour. I went for like a misty green, sort of maybe poisonous fog, or maybe this is just like a very green environment, and because the sun is green, it's making everything else look green. And I actually decided to make this Grunkle a Titan Wing, since it is the first one we did, and I had hella fun with it. Now, obviously, this isn't specifically meant to be Meatlark, it's more just a general kind of adaptation of the Grunkle with this colour palette. I've never drawn HTD Widey Dragons before, so this is basically my first interpretation. I think it went awesomely well. The other thing is, I did all of their forms on paper first. I've taken that basically and then just put it onto here. And if I can show you oh no, I can't show you. I can show you some of the other ones real quick. If I just get rid of these. So I've basically done paper sketches of just very, very basic stuff and then put it on here. Just like it have some sort of base, but that is all like hand free drawn, no tracing or anything, which is a skill that I've somewhat attained now, and I can draw without reference. If I just want it, I can just draw a dragon, a creature without reference straight in, but specifically for this, because it's more like a pop culture thing, I do need some sort of reference, because although I have watched the shows quite a lot, I haven't actually looked into like the anatomy of the creatures, which is what I need for drawing specific dragons and characters like this. And yeah, so I had a bit of reference for the form, but when it came to the actual colour, I left it completely out. For all of this, it was just straight out of mind. And so yeah, we took the 5 values. I used the lighter ones, obviously, to do the highlights, and the darker ones to do the shadows, which is why you've got a bit more of a 3D form here. Now, with the second one, it was the Deadly Nada, Stormfly and Astrid, which we've got down here, by the way. So Stormfly and Astrid, again, used reference to create the form. All of this was pure natural, just straight on my head from what I can remember from the films, right? And the TV shows. And essentially, with the second one, you get with the second one, you get, what was it? With the second one, you get 2 colours, but you get 4 values of each colour. So obviously we got the cyan blue, which was the representative colour of Stormfly, which was insane that we actually landed on that one. That was kind of cool, because the wheels are completely randomised as well. And then, so what we do is basic colour theory. Orange is essentially the opposite of blue, but because the blue we had, and where it was, I stayed, so there's a little circle basically inside this triangle up here, like this colour picker. There's a little circle just here. And I basically just did the direct opposite of the blue to the orange on the colour wheel, which is on the outside, and it stayed on the little dot inside stays in its place. So that directly transfers to an orange. And for then each of them, I chose 4 separate values, well, 3, including the original one. And obviously, again, you can see where we've used the lighter oranges and darker oranges. And obviously, the darker orange actually turns into brown and sort of bronzy colours, which is why you've got this coloration on the dragon. I actually went in and added some sort of drawing detail with a couple little scales here as well. This is definitely more of like a painterly one, and I just had a ton of fun with this. It's a very bronze, very kind of almost metallic looking dragon, and we've also done Astrid down here with like a diamond axe or whatever. All the horns are blue and very elegant, almost crystalline, if I will. And then I've actually done my sort of signature thing that I learned, well, perfected and crafted at uni. This sort of line across the back, it's like a horizon line, but it also can be used in sort of darker environments to create the sort of like a Tron environment effect with like a lake or some mountains. I actually did it in one of the first ever streams we did over here on Twitch, which I believe I'd forwarded over to YouTube. More as like a time lapse. So if you want to check that out, and YouTube's linked over here, then feel absolutely free, but only after the stream, obviously. But yeah, continuing on. So that was 2 colours with 4 variations. Deadly Nada, can't believe we actually got blue. Now, for the third one, we got Hookfang and Snotlout. Now, this one is a bit different. See, for the third one, Actually, tell you what, I'm going to tab this as well so you can see a bit easier. For the third one, it was a bit different. The third one, you get the name. Obviously, we got Hook Fang or the Monstrous Nightmare, and we got a colour. And the colour for this one was purple, as you can see. Now, the difference is with this is that we trisect colour. For the third one along, you take 3 colours and 3 values of each of those colours, obviously including the originals, so technically it's more as 2. And the way that you do this, if we grab the original purple, just in here like that. No, it's more kind of that way. Yeah, so the original purple, what we do from this point is exactly the same as before. We keep this little dot in here exactly where it is, but then you essentially draw an imaginary triangle to the different points. And I essentially did this piece of paper. I made a equilateral triangle and placed it from this point to this point to this point. And we got a somewhat yellowy orange, a sort of turquoisey, almost teal blue colour, and obviously the original purple, each of which we could make 2 more values. So for each of them, I got a dark and a light, and we ended up going with this. Now this one, I've actually added glow here as well using lighter values, and you can see I've tried to make that sort of same Tron effect, but only doing the bottom face with this bit, almost to try and create sort of like a ring sun. We've got Snotlout here on the cliff, which is slightly more defined with the colour. It was a bit of a challenge to do the background because of the sort of yellowy orange tones that I'd chosen. But honestly, I can say this one turned out really well, and I love the perspective of the tail, how it sort of like dips off screen and then comes back. The detail in here, matching it up with the purple, was a bit hard, and I tried to go less blending and more colour clash with this one, which I think really worked out, because the belly is like really defined in this, which I love because of the darkness. The wings are very sharp, which is perfect. It's perfect for Monstrous Nightmare, and obviously the wings are actually the arms of Monstrous Nightmare. It's more of like a wyvern creature. It doesn't have 2 sets of legs. It has a pair of legs and a pair of wings, which has hands on the end of. It's more bipedal than it is an animal. Obviously, it still walks on all 4s, but using the wings like hands. A bit like Smaug does in Lord of the Rings. Same sort of dragon, essentially. And yeah, I've tried to get the actual details of each dragon as accurate as possible with these sort of spines going out down here. And obviously the colours on the right side and everything. So I think those ones really turned out quite well. We've done a very sort of mountainous environment, couple sort of weirdly balanced rocks. I actually added a bit of texture on the rocks down here as well, just like a couple of scratches to give it a different style. Because every one of these images, I want to have a slightly different style. We've also got a bit of like effects that I usually do, like spikes, energy spikes that I usually put on drawings anyway. So I thought that was really, really fun. But these last couple, we have essentially got the Hideous Zippleback and the Night Fury. Now, the Hideous Zippleback, I've now got essentially... No, that's the Night Fury. What the fuck have I just done? Background, there we go. The Hideous Zippleback is a bit different. We've got 4 colours, but we've only got 2 variations of those 4 colours. So we've got the original pink, the original blue, the original green, the original yellow, and I got yellow for this one from the Grunkle colours. And so what we do this time is we make an equilateral square. And once again, we take the Grunkle colour, so if we just go P and say take that, it's not the actual colour because it's lowered on opacity. But we draw an imaginary square, well, I didn't have to, I made an actual equilateral square, and we place it from the certain point here to here to here to here, and then we get our 4 colours by the points. And then once again, keeping the dot where it is inside this triangle, we take those colours, we put them on, and then for each of them we get 1 extra value. And I've made all of them, because the problem is the original colours are very, very bright, so I tried to get darker tones and lighter tones, depending on which colours. So yellow we went darker, pink we went darker, and then blue and green we went lighter. So that we can kind of get like an even balance of dark and light values to make this image really pop. And what I've actually done this time round, in different to the others, is drawn with the colours knowing where I want them to go, so that I can just paint it in underneath instead. Because this is, again, just going to be a very painterly image. What I've also done the other ones quite a lot is use the select tool to select areas. This one, I'm basically just going to try not to use select tool at all. And then with the Night Fury, it's a slightly different dilemma. See, with the Night Fury, or Toothless, I've done the same thing. I've used the colours on the certain parts as well. We're going to put the background in a minute. I've kind of sorted out his tail because I fucked it up a bit when I did the original sort of form drawing. But I've also, these are my 5 colours. And the problem is, with the 5th one, what you do is you take just one colour. So the only colour left from that would have been the sort of fiery red-orange, which you can see just in here, right? That, then obviously we do a pentasector. You essentially make a equilateral pentagon, place it on the triangle like we did before, keep the dot where it is, but we can only have those 5 values where the dot lands, essentially, which are very sort of contrasting colours. But what I've done this time is actually try to blend them into each other. Because what I plan to do is sort of make a light sort of fracture piece, almost Spider-Verse-y in a way, somewhat glitchy. And we're even going to try to do a bit of a hiccup figure up here, just flying. This is like using their suit, and I've actually changed the angle of Toothless. So the way that it's facing, like his back is going to be facing us, the wings are going to go over the top, the tail's going to be going under the wing. His arms and legs are here, and he's firing up so Hiccup can keep on flying because he's using the hot air to obviously lift himself up, essentially. And then the background will obviously have to use the colours as well, but we'll try to somewhat maybe do a bit like a Tronny thing, or I don't know, just experiment with that. But yeah, I've tried to fade the colours in to see what I can get in terms of colour variation. Because the thing is, with this one, unlike the others, I don't have variation in values. So what I'm going to actually have to do is mix the colours and blend them into each other to create new colours, which isn't cheating, because I'm only using the colours that are already there. So, yeah. And again, as many creatures as you want to do, you just keep adding names and keep adding colours. And so if I did like another dragon, I would make a hexagon, which I'd stick on here and then choose the colours. I would then make a septagon, an octagon, a whatever it is for 9 and 10. And however, you could do 100, but you'd have to use a 100-sided shape to pick each colour, essentially. Yeah. And I'm thinking about doing this again for other stuff. If people want to try this themselves, then have a go. Yeah, sure. I might even make like a little Google Docs for the rules and stuff for this challenge. But yeah, basically for now, what we're going to try to do is get the zip all back done. And then I'm going to do Toothless off cam in a bit of a time lapse. We've got about a half hour now until midnight, basically. So a bit of a shorter stream, I must admit. But the rest of it, we're going to get done on a time-lapse at some point. To be fair, I have wasted a lot of this just explaining how the challenge works, but I'm also just trying to catch you guys up on... We lost a follower. I'm trying to go, like, catch you guys up on, like, what's going on here, essentially. But yeah, also, I made little cards as well, which is sick. Or, no, I didn't make them, sorry. I got a friend... Well, no, I sent over some ideas and designs. I got a friend to make these when they were doing a 24-hour stream. I'm pretty sure they stream as well. Well, no, they 100% do. They did a 24-hour stream. Yeah, so thank you so much for following. We got a BRB card. And it's because obviously I shoot on IRL stuff. I can't record on my laptop because it just glitches out and lags. And then we also got a Starting Soon one, which is pretty sick. And they've done it with not my colours, but they've done it on brown paper, which I like, because I like to draw on brown paper. It brings out whites and highlights a lot more easily, especially when you're doing sort of designical stuff. Which is also why I work on a grey background instead of pure white, because it's harder to see stuff in white, whereas grey, in this sort of tone, it brings out everything a lot more, especially with brighter colours, especially yellow, which you can't see great on white. But yeah, we're going to knock out the background and jump right into this thing. So our actual paint layer is here. So if we put that, if we put this layer underneath and then this one underneath here, we should be painting over the top, and then we just get on with stuff afterwards. Yeah. So I've kind of, as I said, I've laid out somewhat like colour bits here, and we're just going to try fill in as best we can, and then we'll see where we're at after that, because we've got about a half hour left. So, cool. We're also going to chuck on some music, obviously, as well. Make this a bit less boring. And obviously, if you guys got any questions, ask away. I'll try to answer best I can. If it's about art or anything like that, yeah, sure. And even just a simple hi is lovely, and all the support so far has been wonderful. So yeah, awesome. Right, music. Let's go. Should we? I'm gonna find the right playlist for this. Here we go. This seems alright. Yep. Good vibes. Let's go a little bit closer and let's get drawing. I might even pull a raid after this as well, if anyone's live doing art, or specifically dragons. I know someone who might be, well, I don't know them, I know of them, I should say. But yes, we can only use the colours that we've been given, which means I do just need to... Because my colour history has been destroyed, which is fucking awesome. Just need to reinstate all of these real quick. The obvious hardship with this is going to be giving it that 3D effect, because, well, we're very limited on darker and lighter values, which is why I'm going to try, like with the Toothless one, overlay some of the colour palettes, and then mix it back in to create new colours from the ones that we're using, which again isn't cheating, because we're only creating those colours by using the ones we've already got. Right, we've got our colour palette loaded up into our colour history, which means we can chuck this back down to a lower opacity. Awesome. Here's our draw layer. Just need to make sure that is the right layer actually. Yeah, we're going to lock that and that. No, wrong one. We're going to lock that and that, and then draw on this one. Awesome. I'm going to use my favourite brush for this as well. Yeah. I think that for all of, pretty much every art piece that I've done so far on here, I've literally just used the same brush, except for highlights and shadows and sort of glow and stuff, which is the airbrush. But every time I paint on here, every time I sketch, I always use this brush. I've no idea why. I love it. I love the texture of it. It's not quite opaque, which makes some really cool effects. But yeah, don't know why I love it, but I just do. It's awesome. Also, yeah, we're going to go live tomorrow as well, and I've got a specific challenge I want to try, as well as a new sort of technique, which might come in handy at uni, and they might even teach it at uni as well. It's something called grayscale, which is essentially where you do all your shadows and highlights over the top, and then basically with just greys and blacks and whites, and then when you colour underneath it with even more kind of values, hues and tones, it somewhat already creates your 3D effect because you've already laid down your, well, grayscale, and it just massively helps with, again, 3D effects and kind of really emphasizing form and things. And I'm willing to try it on a piece we're going to essentially start tomorrow and hopefully finish tomorrow as well, so it doesn't drag on like these dragons. drag on, because dragon and okay, never. I'm also going to try repay that friend who made the signs for us as well, because I know they've got cosplay that they want to get done, so I may be able to help on that on a stream at some point, or off stream, it depends, because I've got work as well at some point, so just gonna, yeah, fit that around stuff. That's right, I got a new job. I've had it for a while now, but it takes up large portions of time, I'll say. I will usually take my laptop with me. I just can't film stuff while I'm working. Well, no. So we stay. Like sometimes it'll be overnight stuff, but like we stay in bits to then go to the next place the next day. And so I will often take my laptop with me to draw while we're like in the B&Bs and stuff, or hostels or whatever. Yeah, it really depends. So here is where we're going to try blend this stuff in, because we don't have enough colours to like make a full sort of gum, which I'd usually do for teeth like this, but these are going to kind of just somewhat blend into the top. So like I said, it's not exactly going to be Bath and Belch. This is probably going to be like a Titan Wing Zippleback as well. So it's Bath and Belch adjacent, I guess, in a way. It's still the same species, but it's more representative of that species than the actual dragon from the show or the TV show. So we'll do our yellows first, and then we'll do all the other stuff. It's looking wicked so far, though. And I am trying to stick to my process here with all of these, no matter what style we go for. And that's the thing, I do somewhat have a style, and I've said this before, I think my style is not having a style. The fact that every piece turns out somewhat unique every time is amazing, and still a mystery to me. Obviously I can force style and try and purposely cause it so that stuff does look the same, but that's never too fun, so... yeah. I mean, with certain stuff, a somewhat style does come out. Like with the Inktober stuff we did last year, which we turned into a book, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen that. I posted it all over socials. I made like lore and like the full fucking island and everything. It was awesome. Yeah. It was awesome. But yeah, with that, I guess there was a more like definitive style there. But even with that, there were some obviously sort of clear differences in terms of colouring and ways in which they had been drawn and the technique. At least from my perspective, anyway. And that's the thing. I'd say with writers and artists, the biggest critic is yourself. When it comes to art, writing, yeah, it's, you're always going to critique yourself with your art. Something I used to do a lot, and I guess people still do as well, and I guess I do sometimes still do this, but not as much, is sometimes I'll be starting a piece and be like, oh my god, this looks so fucking shit, how is this ever going to be any good, and then just fucking leave it for days and days and days and end. And then I get annoyed at myself. I haven't obviously completed it, and I'm like, you know what, let's just fucking knuckle down and do this. I end up doing it, and it turns out fucking amazing. Or I end up sometimes just doing something for like a couple hours that just go by drawing, right? And then I look back on it and just think, how the hell did I just do that? Because it'll be something I've never done before, like to a skill level I've never done before.
You can also play your favorite songs in any order.
And I think the best way to look at it is, obviously don't record everything because experimentation and stuff, and just dissect your pieces and trying to look back and how you could do better. But also, when it comes to that bit where you're like, what the fuck am I doing? How is this even gonna like work? Just trust the process. You know what you're doing. This is your piece. This is your art. You've done this before, or you've got a picture in your mind, focus and hone in on that, and just trust the process is the best I can say with art, to be honest. And the thing is, because of that, am now able to draw basically straight onto paper with pen. I don't use pencil anymore. I've got to the point where I'm able to trust the process enough just to essentially, yeah, draw straight onto paper with pen, rather than laying down pencil lines. And if I make a mistake, then I don't view it as a mistake. I just incorporate it into the piece. And it's, I guess, the problem with actual painting as well, like with the brush, is the fact that if you make a mistake, or if you add too much, or if you think you've added too much, you can't erase it like you would on paper, or you can't erase it like you would on digital. And that is the same again with drawing pen on paper. You can't erase something, so you just kind of work it in, or say, you know what, that's meant to be there, it's part of the piece, it's meant to symbolize this or that. Just go with it, trust the process, and it will end up as good, or maybe even better than you would have thought. And yeah, there will be times where it's going to be like, okay, this isn't what I wanted exactly it to turn out like, but you can also view that as a positive in seeing that, again, like I said, dissecting it, you could see it in a positive as, you know what, I think this is where I went wrong, I can kind of reflect on this, and you know what, if I do this next time, I know what to change. So, yeah, it's just trust the process, try not to get yourself down about your art, because I'm sure it looks amazing. Don't let other people get you down as well, as there's so much kind of, and I feel like I get this quite a lot as well, and not like from other people. Again, own credit, I get this from myself. I will often look at people's art and be like, wow, I'm never gonna like attain that ability. This like completely like eats mine up and shits it out, right? Yeah, okay, fair. But also, it's your style, your kind of uniqueness that's going to thrive. Theirs might be like that, but art is subjective. I guess my view on art is that everybody can do it, even if they say they're bad. I don't think there's such a thing as bad art. I think people just, everybody has their own style. They just need to like hone in on it. And obviously, doing a first drawing for the first time ever, you're gonna think, well, that's really shit. But the only reason for that, I think, is because you've seen a bunch of other art that's super detailed or kind of super high status or status that you immediately think your art looks terrible, but it doesn't. It's your style that you're refining, essentially. And obviously, you can use other people's stuff for inspiration, but I think the best thing about it is trying to draw straight from your mind as well. Is a really good exercise. Just anything, it could be random squiggles or doodles, literally anything just straight from your mind is such a good way to do stuff, because it allows you to obviously create some sort of mind palace or a memory bank of references or things that you've seen in your day that aren't even pictures, and just try essentially take from that and just draw onto paper, which is why I'm able to draw people a bit better. And it's also why I'm able to just draw creatures straight out of my mind as well, without any sort of stuff. Obviously, I'm trying to draw something accurately, like Godzilla or Ghidorah or something like that, and I'm trying to get accurate to the actual thing. I will use reference, but for things that are my original creations, I will literally just onto paper like that. And to be honest, how far I've come with everything so far in terms of art style refinement. A comment I used to get a lot from my art teacher back in school times was, you need to refine your art. How far I've come with this is insane, and probably how far the people have come as well is, they're going to look back and think, wow, that's crazy how far we've come. It is really, really cool to look back on stuff and think, I never thought I would have been able to do this a couple of years ago. Because it has literally been a year, and looking back on my art a year ago compared to what I do now is crazy. Anyway, getting distracted. So we've done the yellow in its brightest. Actually, no, we haven't. We need to do a bit more stuff up here with the face. Oh, shit. We're almost done with the yellow, and then we're going to get on with the green, probably. Yeah. Get on with the green. And the thing is, I have actually used the different shades of colours. Of the colours in each of these as well. So you see these green ones up here are actually obviously much lighter than the other bits. So I know where the highlight bits need to go, or the lighter colours need to go. I'm not going to really stick to that now, but obviously I can pay attention to it a bit more later. And again, what we're going to do is essentially just blend a lot of this in, which is why I'm sort of just adding some off bits from the yellow like that. Let's just bring this down here. Obviously all of this is going to be sort of greenish and pink-ish, but all of this still needs to be yellow. Awesome. I really like how the form of this has come out as well, like how they appear off and on the page, like where they come in and out. The fluidity of this piece is insane as well. The fact that we're going to have this sort of giant explosion tearing across the page almost as well. And that's the thing, because of drawing from reference and obviously practicing with just straight out of mind drawing, I am able to draw a lot of materials now as well, and elements, so like smoke and fire and water and metal and dirt and rock. And yeah, although you can draw from reference those things, I honestly think it's better to go outside and draw from that. Like, you might get some odd looks and stuff, but you could go, I don't know, sit in a public place with a sketchbook and just draw like the material of the thing that you're sitting on or whatever. And then obviously when you get home, you can go ahead and transpire that over to digital and just really experiment with how things work. So with metal, it's just a lot of layering of colours, using white as highlights, and obviously depending on which kind of metal you're doing, then it's that. For kind of diamonds and rubies and stuff, it's the same sort of thing, but with more transparent bits, so it actually has some sort of see-through look to it. But yeah, it's drawing materials. It's a lot of experimentation, and that comes with scales as well. And obviously, depending on how like realistic you want it to look, you can put a lot more detail in. But if you want the material to look more cartoony or kind of simplified, it can just be a couple of the lighter and darker tones. Whereas the like much more detailed bits, I would and going to try and use grayscale for. So that is all the yellows now done, I think. What we need to do is grab the dark yellow, which is going to be these bits behind here and also the inside of the mouth. Because these bits are a bit further back in the drawing, essentially. There we go. And obviously we can erase on this as well if we want to at any point. Probably should have done this back bit first because it's going to start to... Yeah, there we go. If we just grab this yellow back, straight from the sidebar, I'd rather do it from there, from the drawing, because it might not give me the most accurate colour. If we make this brush a bit smaller. Again, grab from the side. What we're going to do is just come in here and Inux that colour all the way down here. Down to here a bit, doesn't really matter because we're going to cover this in blue, so yeah. And that is essentially what we're doing for this first stage. I'm going to take the lines off as well so we can do some erasure and some additions to certain bits to give it a bit more form, but we're essentially just blocking in colour before we add the other stuff to it. Yeah, okay, cool. So these teeth back here are going to have a bit more of like a dip, but they're going to be this sort of more dark gold colour. I'm going to go watch Clone Wars after this. Gone pretty far in actually. Oh yeah, the animation of the Clone Wars for the time that it was made, it's actually pretty damn good. I like how it looks. I love how the characters are like designed. It has this sort of rough quality to it, but I love it. Yeah. Oh, speaking of animation, a friend of mine from uni made an animation the other day. They're on YouTube as well. I don't know if they stream, but they're called The Great Sage. And you know the... You make me cry, you make me smile, you make me smile. They did an animation for that recently, which is, they just sent me in Discord. I think it's on YouTube, but yeah, it looks really good. So yeah, if you want to check them out, feel free. So was the inside the mouth, yeah. Oh no, the inside the mouth was going to be the darker pink, I think. Yeah. Just bring his teeth down a bit then. Cool. Cool. Right, that's all the yellows done. Except there, actually no, this body needs to be a bit more yellow down here like this. I forgot to do the hands. Shit. There we go. Yeah, I guess this is more of like a Titan Wing Dragon. The necks are like much longer than they would be usually for a Zippleback, I guess. Okay, how is that looking? That looks awesome. Even without that looks sick. Okay, cool. Good to know it's actually looking good. Yeah, even like that looks fucking awesome. There we go. It's turning out alright. That yellow down the bottom obviously looks fucking sick as well. There we go. Actually no, should we keep that on? No, it's a bit too much. So, yeah, I think next we're going to do the greens. Like I said, all the colours are very bright, so it's going to be a bit hard to blend stuff. It should be easier with the yellow, which is why I chose green and yellow as the main sort of body parts, but with other bits it might be a bit harder. There we go. Cool. Might have to move the hands. I might have to change the form of this character a bit. Obviously, they are meant to be like rough and tough, but obviously it's not like specifically rough and tough. Just like this isn't specifically Barton Belch. Right, this needs to be this type of green as well. That's all going to be so. I won't blend it yet, obviously, because we're not at that stage, but I'm just going to try layer it over the top as much as I can without ruining the rest of it. That little thing I did with the eye is essentially how it's going to shape out eventually, or at least how I'm going to try to get it to shape out. Now, I will say I did have a bit of advantage on the first one I did with the Grunkle, because I have drawn with only green before, mainly for a bit of lore in the universe that I'm building. So I had a bit of an advantage on that. Other colours, not so much. So the rest of this bit a bit of a challenge, but because we got green on this one, it should be fairly easy, because I know how green works. Green also happens to be one of my favourite colours.
Kids in tow, rooftop cinema time. 6 packs of popcorn? I think one will do, Nina. Ah, clear skies, comfy seats, a talking panda, clearly what we all needed. Okay, everyone's seated and happily doing panda impressions. I wonder when Nan can watch the kids so I can come back with James. Oh, just the two of us. Download the Southern Railway app to book advanced tickets for only £8 on off-peak
We
journeys.
can make it
Southern
if we
Railway,
try.
every stop is a story. Terms apply, see our website for full details.
There's more to Spotify than meets the ear. That's because video is taking center stage on Spotify. With over 300,000 video shows and 300 million users already watching their favorite podcasts.
There's some extra details in there
With
like
seamless
that.
switching between watching and listening. You
We'll
can
do is
tune in
just
anytime.
go over the top of these pink bits first so we
Got a show
can
of your own? Upload
go
your
around
video
them.
to Spotify. Turn views into fans
Don't care.
and monetize your passion.
For God's sake, fucking ads. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go over the pink. Kind of reminds me of Slimer, the way this thing looks. If anyone's ever watched Ghostbusters, you'll understand. But yeah, that's fucking sick. Now the pinks. Looking good so far. I've got 2 minutes left, so let's make this count.
Den Drachen habe ich vermisst. Jetzt hat nichts besagt, du Humusgericht, wenn ich ins Gras beiße. Ja. 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 Ja.
Yeah, I'm just making sure if someone's live so I can raid them afterwards.
Discover your future
No,
at
shut
the
up.
University of West London.
No, only at Ravensbourne Uni. Hello! Welcome. Streaming, dragons, drawing stuffs. Colour challenge with HTDY stuffs. I'm trying to zip all back things and stuffs. Yeah. Basically, specific colours only get a specific amount of colour variation. Done a couple already, which are just here. I can show you real quick. So we've got a Gruncle just there, which I think I turned out pretty awesome. And then we've got a Deadly Nadder with Astrid just here, like that, which is pretty awesome. So we got blue and orange for that one. The first one was obviously green, with a limited palette. This one was Hook Fang, and we only got 3 colours for this one, which I think are probably the best one so far. I really do like the Stormfly one though. And, I don't know if I'm allowed. I don't think I should have a favourite one, but this probably is my best one so far. And then, yeah, right now, as I said, we're working on the Hideous Zippleback, or Bath and Belch. That's what it looks like without the stuff right now. But we're going to probably colour it on a time lapse, and then tomorrow I'm going to get on with another little art piece as well. So, yeah, cool. I'm going to try Grayscale tomorrow with like a bit of a Fantastic Four theme. Should be fun. Yeah, I'm just like trying to colour because I've got a little colour code here that I'm just trying to follow. And then I've got my limited palette on the side in colour history. Oh, it's gone midnight. I need to end stream. For God's sake. Oh well, it was fun while it lasted. I had some good sort of inspirational talky bits there too. Yes. Thanks for joining the stream. This always happens. I've got to end stream now, that's the problem. People join when I end the stream. This always happens. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, day, night, wherever you want to world, because everyone's welcome here. If you do art, then I hope you make some amazing stuff, whatever that art is. It could be textiles, it could be drawing, it could be digital stuff, it could be animation. Even if you're not an artist, you're probably really good at something. Hone in on that and refine it and push it to your best of ability. Yeah, have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. British time around, what, like 2 in the afternoon, maybe? And then probably again around 7 in the evening, again British time. But yeah, we'll either be finishing off this once again, or this will be finished up as a VOD on YouTube, which is linked over here, where all the previous VODs have been, with all the other art stuff that I've done so far. So if you want to check that out, then feel absolutely free. Well, I think my social links over as well, and there's some stuff in there that hasn't seen the face of YouTube or Twitch before. So yeah, I think it's mainly uni work and stuff, like uni vlogs and things like that. But yeah, I will see you later. Have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go pull a raid right now as well, if I can, on people that are very good artists. It's 2 people, I think so. Very good artists. Hello. Cabbage King. Yes, unfortunately. This always happens. People always join stream when I'm about to end the stream. What the sake? I'm gonna pull a raid real quick. People also doing dragon drawings right now. And like I said, I will be back tomorrow, British time around 2, and then also 7 in the evening. Oh, Drawfee's live, but also, yeah, other people who are doing dragons right now, who I do really like the art style of. If I can just find... Here we go. Yeah. They are Dutch. They're also non-binary, which is awesome. Go Pride, woo! I'm part of that community, awesome. Too, so that's sweet. But yeah, so I'll see you all later. Have a good one. Like I said, have a good evening, morning, day, afternoon, night, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you later. Well, mainly tomorrow. Let's go watch Rinai. Awesome! Woo! Right, I'm gonna have to end the stream here. Sorry, guys. How do I... Right, I need to come out of Stream Manager. What was it? I'm doing this on an iPad. On a wonky tripod. Bye, have a nice evening!